He was born with a sword in his hand and died with his gods on his lips. But immortality doesn't honor the gods. It devours them. This is the story of Thorne, the Viking who became a vampire, and why he chose to bury himself in ice for 1,000 years. When he awakens, the world is alien. Metal beasts fly overhead. The language on every street is unfamiliar, but none of it matters to Thorne, because what drives him now is not curiosity, but vengeance. The betrayal runs deep, and though his body was once frozen, his anger never slept. This isn't just a tale of a Norseman turned immortal. This is a story about identity lost and reclaimed, about the violent clash between past and present, and the eternal question: can a man forged by gods ever serve silence? Thorne's beginning lies in the icy winds of Scandinavia, centuries before the first cathedrals rose in Europe. In life, he was everything his people revered: fearless, loyal, and deeply bound to the old gods. He sailed with raiders, worshipped at temples of stone, and spilled blood for honor, not vanity. But then, love struck, and like most mortal things, it didn't last. Thorne loved fiercely, yet betrayal followed. Therefore, when he stood on the battlefield for what should have been his last day, death seemed like mercy. But death was denied. Marius, the Roman, the artist, the ancient, saw something in Thorne, not pity, potential. Therefore, he gave Thorne the dark gift, thinking he would be a worthy heir to the immortal legacy. But Thorne did not ask for this gift, and he would never forgive the consequences. Vampires in Rice's world don't just drink blood, they inherit memory. Every drop carries echoes of other lives, other pains. Therefore, the more Thorne fed, the more he saw. Akasha's wrath, Maharet's burdens, Mekare's silence. The psychic weight was unbearable. But then, he stopped. He stopped feeding. He stopped fighting. He turned away from the world. Deep in the north, beyond the reach of mortals or monsters, Thorne found a glacier, and he let the ice swallow him. He slept. For 1,000 years, he slept, letting time pass, letting the world forget him. But even in frozen stasis, the dreams came, visions soaked in blood and fire. A silent queen on a throne of bone, twins torn by fate, a maker who abandoned him, a world ruined by gods older than his own. But then, the world changed. The dreams turned from whispers to screams, and something inside him stirred. When Thorne finally emerged from the glacier, the modern world greeted him with steel and silence. Yet his purpose had never been clearer. He sought answers. He sought Marius. But most of all, he sought Maharet and Mekare. Because through the blood, Thorne saw everything. He saw Akasha rise and fall. He saw Maharet protect the bloodline. And he saw Mekare, hollowed by the sacred core, ruling without voice or vision. He believed Mekare had become what Akasha once was, a silent tyrant fueled by ancient power. Therefore, he needed to confront her, not out of hate, but out of fear that silence had triumphed over soul. Let's pause here. What exactly is the sacred core? In Rice's mythology, the vampire race originates from an ancient spirit that bonded with Queen Akasha. This spirit, the sacred core, became the beating heart of all vampires. When Akasha died, it passed to Mekare. Therefore, Mekare is now the source of all blood. Yet she rules in silence, possessed, not present. This disturbs Thorne, because to him, true power should come with wisdom, not vacancy. Thorne carries with him the gods of old: Odin, Thor, Freyja. His morality is shaped by ritual, loyalty, and vengeance. Therefore, the silence of Mekare feels like blasphemy. But then, he meets Maharet, She is no tyrant. She is burdened, patient, complex. She tells him of loss, of sacrifice, of trying to preserve what little order remains. Yet Thorne remains torn. He no longer believes in the sanctity of the vampire order. He doesn't see gods or queens, only survivors. Therefore, he demands his own justice, not to rule, but to understand. Physically, Thorne is a force. He awakens after 1,000-year sleep stronger than ever. Like all old immortals, age grants him power, clarity, even glimpses of prophecy. But emotionally, he is fractured. His Viking pride wars with the truths he has seen. He is introspective, slow to act, deeply aware of the pain he causes. He doesn't want to be feared. He wants to be known. But then again, how can anyone understand a creature who has lived in ice for centuries? Thorne's isolation is not just physical, it is philosophical. He speaks little, but when he does, his words cut deeper than any sword. Let's not forget Marius, the one who turned him. Marius believed in free will, in art, in civilization. He chose Thorne thinking he could mold another protector. But Thorne never asked to be a protector. He was made a monster. Therefore, his pain isn't just about betrayal. It's about being misunderstood. And that pain never truly heals. Thorne's story is a thread within Blood and Gold, largely a tale of Marius. But his voice is distinct, sharp, unforgettable. He doesn't join courts. He doesn't sit on councils. He walks alone. Yet his presence lingers because he is a mirror, reflecting the worst and best in immortality. He is what happens when old gods meet new curses, when a warrior becomes a watcher, and when a man who once believed in Valhalla is denied even a clean death. Thorne does not die. He does not conquer. He does not forgive. He simply endures, a vampire in the snow, a relic of an older war, a question left unanswered. We often think of vampires as seducers, monsters, or rulers. But what if one was simply tired? Tired of blood, tired of memory, tired of surviving. Thorne is not the most powerful vampire, nor the most famous, but he is the most human. So if you ever find yourself in the deep north, beneath the ice and wind, listen. Because some say the Norse vampire still sleeps, still waits, still dreams. And dreams, in vampires, can be far more dangerous than death. Which vampire should we explore next? Let me know in the comments. And if you're drawn to stories where myth meets immortality, don't forget to subscribe.